highly anticipated matchup coming on Saturday to begin. Will the Timberwolves prevent a Nuggets two-peat? Mykel, talk to me.
Man, it's gonna be tough. I think that they are. I think this is my take. I believe whoever wins this series is a team that's going to represent the Western Conference in the finals, and it's gonna be tough. It's what Timberwolves team do we get? Are we going to get this hungry team that we see against the Suns? Are we going to get the team that sometimes had spurts during the regular season where you were unsure of them? If we get the team that just beat the Suns, I've been saying it all along. Like the Denver Nuggets fans, they've been on my head talking mess to me on Twitter. But I'm like, the loss of Bruce Brown and Jeff Green nearly bit them in the ass against the Lakers. Now you're going to go against a much better team with the size that they have, with the Anthony Edwards looking like a young Kobe Michael Jordan. You got Mike Conley. You got McDaniel there. Like their team, their depth is built to beat the Denver Nuggets, and it's going to be a crazy, crazy series. And I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves taking care of business because I think that Anthony Edwards will be that second best guy in this series, and they're gonna have the wings to kind of make things tougher on Jamal Murray when it comes to finishing games. And then they got these three different bigs that they can send at Jokic. Like all this Gobert talk that we hear about how great defensively he is, we're going to really learn about him defensively this series because if he can come and do a hell of a job against Jokic and make it really tough for him where his efficiency and stuff goes down, he's going to get more and more respect. But, man, I think the Timberwolves has a good chance to knock them off because they miss those two veterans who really came through for them last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, I
This
think for
series.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh,
Nah,
yeah.
go ahead, Zay. It's all you.
This series is gonna be chaotic. For the simple fact that Jamal Murray is probably one of the most clutch players of our generation in terms of making a basket, no time left on the shot clock, everything going down to the last 5 seconds of the fourth. He is that dude, especially in the playoffs. This guy is electric. I think the Timberwolves win in 7. It's gonna go down to 7. Even if you bring the best version of what we just saw, the Timberwolves against the Suns, it's gonna be very tough to get the Nuggets packed up and out of there. Jokic is a very difficult person to defend. You can't leave Michael Porter Jr. open. Aaron Gordon's able to hit threes from the corner now, and he's also in the dunker spot all the time. It eliminates a lot of different things that the Timberwolves do, but Anthony Edwards is on a different level. He's playing at a real ridiculous pace. He's trying to force himself in that monument of NBA superstars. He's trying to force himself in that VIP club that I call it of guys who are just so electric. You cannot stop him. And Anthony Edwards he's probably going to average like 35 plus in this series. He is going to be dynamic. I think they win in 7. I think they prevent the Nuggets from two-peating, but you cannot ignore Jamal Murray. He is a guy that is reckoned with. He's going to be a top 5 point guard at the end of this playoffs when it's all said and done. And people need to recognize that more now than ever. He needs to get an all-star ASAP because this guy is ridiculous. He shows up every playoffs, but it's going to be a great series.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going with 7 games. I'm going to give you my team at the end of my take. You know, I think the Wolves, they have the roster to combat Denver's size. They have the depth. You know, they have the guy in the fourth quarter and Anthony Edwards who could trade fourth quarter heroic shots with a guy like Jamal Murray. So I think they're definitely equipped to really have this series go 7 games and potentially win the series, right? I think for me, you know, the Nuggets, they have some depth issues that I think was on full display in the last series against the Lakers, in which they needed every bit of Jamal Murray's 32 to send the Lakers home to avoid that game 6. They needed every bit of Jamal Murray's fourth quarter heroics in that game 2 with that buzzer beater to beat the Lakers in that game. So they needed a lot of heroics from Jamal Murray, and their depth is the biggest X factor here. I think teams will allow Aaron Gordon to be open and Christian Brown to be open and just force them to knock down their shots and just focus on Jokic and Jamal Murray. And I think that's where Denver's going to have to make them pay by knocking down their shots, which is the reason why in the last series against the Lakers, I kept stressing rebounding. I'm like, listen, I'm not just saying rebounding for a reason. I'm saying rebounding because if you give Denver a second chance opportunity, they're going to knock down their shots. And that's exactly what happened. The Lakers gave them too many second chance opportunities. Well, I don't think you have to worry about the rebounding battle here with the Timberwolves. I think they could get rebounds as well. So I do think this is really going to be a tight series. Michael Porter Jr. is going to be the X factor here because he was an X factor in the last series. I mean, when you look at his numbers against the Lakers, Game one, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Game two, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals. Game three, 20 points, 10 rebounds. Game four, 27 points, 11 rebounds, 1 steal. Game five, 26 points, 4 rebounds. If he continues to make plays and knock down shots and even affect the game defensively with some of the steals and blocks that he had in the series, then I think the Nuggets will find a way. And they kind of remind me of the Chiefs. I always said this, in which when you go back to that AFC Championship game, I want to reference the Ravens were the better team. I think the Timberwolves are the better team. The Ravens were the better team, but the Chiefs championship DNA came through at the end. And I think, the Ravens got a little bit too emotional. I think in this game, the Grizzlies, who hasn't been here before, and yet, though they swept the Nuggets, they swept the Suns, I think it will be the Nuggets championship DNA that's going to be the difference here. And I like the Nuggets in 7 games. I stuck with them in the beginning of the year. I'm going to stick with them right now. I like them in 7, but I would not be shocked if the Timberwolves win this series in 7 as well.
Yeah, you saw some chinks in their armor when it comes to some of their depth. I don't think the Nuggets' depth is the same as it was last year. Like I said, losing those two veteran pieces, um, and Bruce Brown, we saw what he did, how he was able to turn that into a payday. And even Jeff Green, a veteran who can kind of play big, can play a little smaller as well. I think that might come back to hurt them, but it's all going to be on the Timberwolves. They have home court advantage. They should feel that they have the best wing in the series if Anthony Edwards can continue what he's doing, and they should feel that they have the size to at least compete with the Denver Nuggets. A big matchup is going to be Cat versus Aaron Gordon. Like if Cat can dominate that by not settling for threes, but getting inside and getting those easy buckets on a guy that he's bigger than, I think that can really shift the series for the Timberwolves, and that's what I think can put them over the top. Because believe me, the Lakers led for 165 minutes of this past series versus the Nuggets. If the Wolves get leads like that, they're going to be putting those games away because Anthony Edwards is going to be attacking. Conley is going to be attacking. Cat is going to be attacking, and their defense is much better than the Lakers as well. So if we see the Nuggets from the Lakers series and the Wolves from the Suns series, I think that the Timberwolves can make it happen.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a great Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
We get that. That's really the X factor. I think like he needs to show his
I agree.
defensive tenacity. I think Jaden McDaniels already has been here. I think he may be guarding Jamal Murray majority of the series,
Yep.
just to try to prohibit anything from happening. But Rudy Gobert is gonna really have to stay in front of Jokic and prevent those loopy shots he does, like those little 1-footer, half turn, fadeaway jumpers, those pull up threes he does. It's gonna take a lot for Rudy Gobert to stop Jokic from potentially getting a 20-20, 10-10 type of series performance. It's just kind of you have to try to get him inefficient as much as possible, and it's gonna be tough. But I think the series will be great. I think it's be probably one of the best series we'll see this playoffs is between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets.
And that's saying a lot because there's been some good series. Even though, the Lakers was a gentleman sweep, that still was a good series, in my opinion. The Knicks and 76ers was a good series. So that's saying a lot. And I do agree with Rudy Gobert being the X factor, his ability to patrol the paint, his gravity as a rim runner, opening up the driving lanes. All those things are going to be critical. What's critical against the Suns is going to be even more critical, the things that he can do rebounding as well in this series. I think the Timberwolves has shown that they are for real in the sense that they are no longer the team that is dropping leads, double-digit leads. They don't get erratic in the fourth quarter, right? They're not fighting amongst each other. Ally, Rudy Gobert, and Kyle Anderson. They have a guy in Anthony Edwards who can pull the team together, hold his guys accountable, put them in check, call Anthony Towns at the presser about being in foul trouble, and he could be the guy to bring them home in the fourth quarter. Along with Jamal Murray, I'm stacked. I'm stoked about this series. I think it's going to be a good one.
A guy that people don't mention enough too, which if you put him on the Suns win that series because they just needed a leader, a guy that can initiate offense. Mike Conley, man, I think that he settles a lot of things for the T Wolves where they have that vet that they can lean on. I believe he was there for the grit and grind Memphis teams, if I'm right. So he knows what it's like. He battled against Duncan and the Spurs and things like that, played against the Warriors when they were at their best. And I think that his wisdom and knowledge and his play on the court is able to help them get them in the right sets, calm them down when things become a lot. And I think that he's a guy that can make a big difference in this series. And it's gonna come down to the others. It comes down to that a lot more than just the top guys. Your top guys have to be great, but can the others step up? And that's what we're going to see with the Nuggets. If Reggie Jackson can have a better series than the Lakers, if KCP can have a good series, it's going to be some great basketball. And it's going to be another one of those great series. Y'all didn't even mention the Clippers and Mavs. I'm going to be in the building in a few hours to see Game 5 of that series. Where some good basketball going on. So this is a great time of the NBA playoff time, and man, I can't wait for this Timberwolves Denver Nuggets series.
Definitely refreshing when you consider the regular season, how drawn out that could be.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.